We're in trances, going off to different places, different planets. Watch your aura pass me by, losing balance. What if we run out of time and second chances? Empty-handed, you let fast life.
Hey you guys, it is Crystal Lopez here from crystalandcomp.com. How are you doing today? I hope you are having an amazing day. All right, we are going to make this delicious soup that Lenny and I absolutely love. It is a turmeric cauliflower soup. So good. If you like cauliflower soup, or if you are looking for potato soup alternatives, this is a great one. And it is full of so many ingredients that are good for you, including the turmeric and obviously the cauliflower. Both of those are very good for you. All right, so we're going to start off with a large head of cauliflower, and you just want to cut it, getting that hard core that I'm cutting off there. You want to get that out of there. Ideally, I mean, this is going to go through the blender eventually, but I don't know. I just really like to cut that part off. So we're going to cut it into chunks that we can cook on the sheet pan. I've covered a sheet pan with parchment paper. I buy my parchment paper at Costco in bulk. And actually, I just used the last bit of this roll that I had here in this video. So we go through, I buy a 2-pack at Costco, and I was trying to remember how long it lasted me. I know that when I buy my foil in bulk, it lasts me right at 3 years. I feel like the 2-pack of parchment paper lasts a year, but I'll have to go back and look at some videos to see when the last time is that I purchased. But I'm out now. So we've got that cut up. We have rinsed it really good and strained it to get rid of any excess water. And we put it on the sheet pan. And now we're going to take a shallot. If you don't have a shallot, you could totally use an onion, but shallots are like, I don't know. I've not looked them up to see exactly if this is true, but I've not always cooked with shallots. I've just in the last 6 months or so have been cooking with shallots more often. And I will tell you, to me, I say they are like a cross between a garlic and an onion. Now, I don't know if you look that up online, if that's what it would say, but to me, that's what they're like. They're very strong, very strong. I mean, they'll make you cry the way that an onion will make you cry. They have the texture of an onion. They're very, very strong like an onion, but I feel like the flavor is more, to me, the flavor that it gives the food is like a cross between garlic and onion. I don't know. They're delicious. They are absolutely delicious. They are great to add to salads, to add to sheet pan veggies, to add to soups, different meals. I really like them. I'm also cutting up some garlic. I'm just taking the outside of the garlic off and just slicing it up, throwing all that on the sheet pan, because all of this is going to go through the blender once it's done cooking, okay? All right. So just get all that on your sheet pan, and then we're going to sprinkle it with turmeric, and you can add some salt and pepper, and then we're going to put it in the oven and let it roast. And remember, the turmeric is going to turn anything that it touches like an orangey yellowish color. So be careful not to get it on your clothes. You know, if you get it on your countertop, you want to wipe it clean pretty quickly, and it's going to turn this cauliflower into like an orangey yellow color, okay? All right. All right, so we are adding the turmeric to it before we put it in the oven to roast it. I actually like to buy my turmeric in bulk at Costco. I buy a lot of stuff in bulk at Costco. It is the cheapest place to buy this because you get a cheaper price per unit, so per ounce, opposed to, I paid about the same for that big, huge container as you would pay for a smaller container at Sprouts, which I have bought it at Sprouts in a pinch, but you just pay so much more per unit. It's going to be cheaper to get it at Costco than pretty much any grocery store, whether you are shopping at, Walmart, H-E-B, Kroger, Tom Thumb, any of those. it's going to be cheaper to buy it in bulk at Costco. Okay, so now we're going to get our big soup pot out. I like this Dutch oven that I have. Actually, my mother-in-law gave me this one. Yellow is, for years, yellow has been a favorite color of mine. I really like mustard yellow. But as I've gotten older, I'm like, there's a lot of colors that I like. But yellow is one of my all-time favorite colors. And I love this Dutch oven. I don't know where she got it, but she gave it to me and I love it. It's so beautiful, and it is cast iron, but it is coated in ceramic. So, sorry, my phone's going off. Actually, it's Kelsey. So those of you wanting a Kelsey update, we should do that pretty soon, actually. All is well. But I know sometimes from time to time you guys ask in the comments, how's Kelsey? How's Kelsey? Anyway, all right, we are taking, I'll call her back. We are taking all the roasted veggies, which includes the shallots, the garlic, and the cauliflower, and we are putting them into this roasting pot. Now, you're going to see, into this Dutch oven, you're going to see that some of the areas are really, really roasted, like the cauliflower itself, and even the shallot pieces, some of them look really dark and roasted. That's okay. They're not burnt. We don't want to burn them, but they look really dark. Totally fine. When we puree this after it comes to a boil, it's going to all be smooth and creamy, and it's not going to be a big deal. So we're adding vegetable broth or vegetable stock. Now you could totally switch out for beef or chicken stock, but just know that it's going to change the flavor, and then it will no longer be a vegetarian meal. Okay. And then we're using almond milk. You could certainly use coconut milk, or you could use oat milk or cashew or whatever, but just know it's going to change it a little bit. Like, for example, if you used coconut milk instead, it's going to make it a little bit sweeter, right? Then we're going to add in some lentils, and all of this just kind of makes it a little heartier and makes it stick to your ribs a little better, right? So we are putting in the lentils. We're using red lentils. You could use green, you could use black, you could use red. There are lots of different colors of lentils. Just know it's going to change the color of the soup a little bit potentially, okay? Not a big deal, but just go into it knowing that. All right, so we're getting all that added. We're going to bring this to a boil, and then we're going to puree it all. And I'm just kind of eyeballing it, but we're going to add a little more of the broth or the almond milk as needed. And if you want to use regular dairy milk, you 100% can. If you want to use water instead, you can. Just know that you're going to compromise your flavor or change your flavor a little bit, right? So just know that going into it. And you could certainly double or triple this recipe so that you could feed even more people. I knew that my kiddos were not going to want this. This was for me and Lenny, and I made this pot of it, and then we ate on it for a couple of days. Okay, so it's boiled, everything is great. It's now ready to run through either a food processor or a blender. Either one is fine. We want to make all of this really, really creamy. I prefer to use the blender, and actually this blender that's here, we've had it for probably 10 years. Lenny bought it years ago, new in the box, never even opened from the box on Facebook Marketplace. Like, it was when Facebook Marketplace first became a thing, right? Have y'all seen those funny reels that are going around now? Like, I'm not worried about my husband talking to a woman on Facebook. I'm worried he's talking to Fred about buying a new trailer or whatever. Like, I can so relate to that because I feel like my husband is constantly buying things from Facebook Marketplace. But
hey, that's not nice.
You do. You are always. Let's go through all the things you've bought on Facebook
I
Marketplace.
look for deals.
Cotton candy machines, hot dog rollers, like all kinds of food truck equipment. Actually, I think one of your food trucks you bought from finding them on Facebook Marketplace. He's found vehicles on Facebook Marketplace, all the things. Anyway, this blender was a really great. It was a really great purchase. Did I already tell you it's the Montel Williams brand? I don't even know if it's still around. It does such a good job. And actually it has a feature on it that is a soup feature, and it heats it as you're mixing everything up if this wasn't already heated up. Anyway, all right, I'm getting a spatula so that a rubber spatula so that I can pull a scraper. There you go. So I can pull and scrape all of that out of there. And then I ended up adding a little bit of liquid just to kind of see if I could, you know how when you have a spaghetti jar and you empty it and you want to get the last little bit out, so you add a little bit of water and shake it up to get the last little remnants out? I was essentially trying to do that here by adding a little bit of almond milk, thinking I could slosh it around and get more of that out, but it didn't work so well. But that's okay. It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. So, all right, we're just going to mix all of this up and let all of our flavors come together. And look at that. It is excellent. And this particular night, I was making, what was I making for my kids for dinner? I think grilled chicken. And I think we had sheet pan veggies in the oven. And then I made them rice. And so this soup was enough for me and Lenny to eat off of for like 2 nights and a lunch. It made quite a bit. It was really good. And then actually one night, Kelsey and the kids came over for dinner, and Lenny had this soup out and he put a little bit of it. It was another night that the kids were having rice. And so he was making her he made her a plate and was heating up some food for her. And he added, because this soup had been pulled out of the fridge as the leftover, and he added a little bit of it over her rice, almost like it was a creamy sauce. And I'm like, what are you doing? Wow, that's soup. Don't do that. But he did. She loved it. She thought it was fantastic. So who is Kelsey? I've mentioned her name a couple of times now in this video today. If you don't know our story, go and find one of our videos. There's a couple of them on here. Look for the one that's like long lost daughter or whatever. My husband learned, it's been 6 years ago. He learned in 2014 that not 2014. He learned in 2018 that he had a daughter that he never knew about. She knew she had a dad. She didn't know who her dad was, but he had no idea that he had a daughter. Anyway, so that's what moved us to San Antonio. She's amazing. She doesn't live far from us, and we get to see her. We get to see her pretty regularly. I mean, obviously, she has a busy life too. All right, there you go, guys. Let me know if you make this. The full recipe is over on my site. I will link to it here in the video. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye. You want to say bye?
Bye.